So some of you may not have the book for the business planning clinic. And if you don't, then probably what I'll do is I'm going to have, another one in person. So let me agree to this, because I'm going to skip through it a little bit to the parts that I really like, but y'all feel free to ask me any questions. Can y'all hear me okay?
I can hear you good.
All righty. So basically, some of y'all have done the business planning clinic, and this is to prepare us, how to track our numbers, how to make our goals. And in the end, we're going to do like a weekly, monthly, yearly, and then a 5-year goal together. And, and I want to stress to you that sometimes it's really hard because we're all like a type A personality, and, we're controlling of our business. Christine and I talked about that earlier this morning. We get controlling of our business, not Michelle at all. And,
Never. Never.
We have to learn sometimes to let it go, and, and to make a plan so that you can reach your goals. So, the first thing is, and for those of you who don't have the book, we'll send it over to you so you can run your numbers. But the one thing is, where are you today? And the amount of money that you need for your lifestyle and to get out of debt, your business expenses, your average commission amount, number of listing appointments you went on last year and this year, and the number of buyers appointments, the numbers of listings sold, buyers sold, number of names in your database, and whether you're on a team or independent. So you need to have all these numbers because, even if this year you're like, okay, I'm in September, I'm going to go into the next year, and you didn't do it this year, I want you to really focus on next year. But in order to focus on next year, you've got to get started now. And, so we're going to learn a couple of different things, and we're going to complete a business plan while we're on here. I personally feel like we might have to finish this somehow in person, and I want to make sure everyone has this book. Does anyone not have the book that's on the call? Everybody has it? So we're going to talk a little bit about a model. And models are strategic actions based upon someone else's actions that got the desired results you want. I just want you to realize that even though you're trotting along, you're doing okay, you're like, oh, this was a good year. Of course it was a good year because it was just a good year. But I want you to really think about some of the people who have gone to the next level. And I just want to remind you, the next level isn't always about money. Some people are like, well, I need the money. I'm trying to pay off college loans, or I'm trying to pay for my children's college or whatever, or I'm trying to help somebody out, or I'm trying to get myself and my debt paid off. But there's more to it than that. And sometimes it's about a quality of life. And, and we forget that at times that, a quality of life is equally valuable or more valuable than money would be. So anyone who does not have the book, just let me know and I'll make sure that you get this. But here's a mindset on a person's way of thinking, about mindsets and models. And trust me, these were my thoughts, and I can just tell you, no one is more stubborn than Teresa Grant is. Like, I'm a very stubborn, strong-willed person that thinks I know everything, and I have learned since I started following the models, it really has changed my life. And I did it in 5 years. So it's not like I started doing these models back when I got my license, because I didn't. So some people will say, I don't need models. That used to be me. You use models now. How are they? They're how you get things done. You do use models every day. You're just not using it in your real estate business. When results matter, you don't want models that limit you. You want proven models that grow with you. So if you're going to follow a model, make sure it's a proven model. Models limit my freedom. That was my mindset too. Models set you free because you can make better decisions more quickly and have a better life as a result. Models are just somebody else's opinion. That's another headstrong opinion people will have. Models are based on the success of others that are implemented properly, deliver predictable outcomes that are proven, not an opinion. So if you go through this MREA, this book that was written, people have used these models and they have had very successful careers. And that's why it's called the millionaire real estate. This model won't work for me. A model will work for you if you follow it because it has predictable results. Get rid of that drunk monkey on your shoulder. You've got to get that mindset straight. And I don't need to change. I'm getting the results I want. As you grow, you're going to want better results and better models. And, you know, I have always done the same thing the same way. And I always worked off of my talent and, you know, my God-given talent. And I did really well for myself. But the problem is I didn't have an end goal and I didn't have a plan. And because I didn't have a plan, I worked myself to death. So if you're going to grow your business, you've got to do it with a model and a plan. Does anyone have any questions? So to think like a millionaire real estate agent, think powered by a big why. Why are you doing this? Why personally and why professionally? And think big goals and big models and think value and customer service and experience. Supportive, think competitively and strategically, think action and accountability, think talent, systems, standards, think knowledge and skills, think persistence and resilience, and think profit. And can anyone here want to share with me what your goal is for the next month? Do you have a monthly goal? Are you going on vacation? Or are you wanting to do something special? Are you wanting to implement something new for your business? Y'all better answer me. I'm gonna call on you.
Yeah, so we have a goal. We have a book that Charlotte recommended that she wanted to read called The Miracle Morning. So our whole office, everyone that wanted to is going to read that. So that would be one of our goals, is to get that book read and share thoughts back and forth on it.
I love that. Thank you, Christina. And what about something that is a monthly goal? Like, what do you want to implement by next month? And I can share mine a little bit with you. I am trying to set up a new, lead database, using Command, but then transferring them over into an outside ISA. So that's my goal, to have that up and running in the next month so that we can work more efficiently on the team next year. So let's go to a year goal. I want to hear somebody's next year goal in 1 year. Michelle, I'm getting ready to call on you because you're laughing. You better unmute.
I have a goal.
Hold on. What's quicker, the fingers or the mind? I was fumbling. You talk about it was a good year, and this may be a long answer. I ramble. It was very good at first, and then people start not wanting to pay these prices. So that's kind of been a hankering my last probably 30 to 40 days, maybe 45. So in my mind, even though I'm on a team, I would like to pick up more listings. I have some that's just been kind of lingering. And so I self-evaluate all the time. I'm the worst at it. So I'm thinking maybe it's my fault that I didn't light a fire to their butt, and I should have already had it listed and sold before we're getting to this. And don't get offended, stupid pumpkin spice season, because I like the summer, I like the lake. But fall bass fishing's coming, so that's okay. I guess, my goal, and I say it every year, do I hit it? Not always. Horrible follow-up, because you get so many people in your database or in your command, and you'll concentrate on one really hard because they're active and they're ready to go. And as soon as you show them that right house or your offer gets accepted, that's payday. That's a reward. And as humans, we love rewards. But then you forget about the other 10 that's just kind of lingering. So that would be one of my biggest next year goals. I'm sure my, what are you to me, Teresa? I don't know, friend, leader, mentor. I don't know. I'm sucking up. But anyway, you know that about me. You know that I can take something, I can run with it, but the follow-up sometimes, and I think a lot of people have the same problem. That's my biggest thing, but I've also concentrated on the family a lot this year. Big change this whole last year, retiring from my other job. My father's got older, so I've had some personal things to do. I just think I need to do better at that. That's some of my goals. Mine would be more listings because I know that's money coming in. Hopefully the buyer thing evens out or gets better. But again, I self-evaluate. So is it my fault I wasn't on those people every day? Some of my clients.
And that is a good goal because, when you have listings, you get buyers. When you have buyers, you get listings. They go hand in hand. And so it's to focus on not just working with that one person, but making sure you reach out to all of them every day. And that is important. So Jennifer, can you give me Michelle just gave her next year. Jennifer, do you have a 5-year?
5-year. Yeah, within
Share
5
1 year
years,
if you want, but you can share 1 year if you want to.
5 years, I need to be fully sufficient with my real estate business. In 5 years, it needs to be able to be my only source of income. And I plan on, in 5 years, being able to, I know it sounds ridiculous, but at least take 1 vacation every year.
Yes, that's not ridiculous, but yes, you're right.
I have such a hard time committing to things like that. It's ridiculous. It's bad. It's bad, but I want to feel financially free to be able to plan those things, execute those plans, pay for them, and not feel like I'm strapped afterwards. Like that's important to me. But this next month, my goal is to have time blocked out my entire month. I'm really bad with following systems in general. So all of the systems that are put in place, the models and stuff. I mean, I agree that they are awesome, and I don't have a problem thinking I don't need them. I know I need them, but follow through on that is hard for me. So next month, I'm planning on figuring out this month what I need to do for next month to have time blocked my whole month.
Yeah. And you're right. You need to make an appointment to have a vacation, even if it's something small and simple that you do. And you need to make an appointment to time block. And Michelle, that's probably back on your thing too, all of us, it happens because in real estate, you get so busy that sometimes, like if you have a lull, you just want to have a break, and so then you use that lull as your break, and then you're not making your calls. And I think we have to make a commitment that you do make and contact 20 people a day. It is not that hard. It's not. Who is that? I lost somebody, and if you just know that you contacted those 20 people, it doesn't have to be 21. It can't be 19. Contact 20 people. And what that does is it sets you up for the rest of your week if you just keep doing that. And so those are good goals, because if you do that, you really will get to where you want to be. And then everyone has the someday goal. Our someday goal, probably all of us are a little similar. I'm sure we would all like to have passive income and be able to retire and, travel or do something like that. But what I want y'all to know is that if we keep getting together like this, that we can create this to happen. And Jennifer and, Michelle, what y'all are saying, it's not any different from anyone else. I mean, it's the same thing. We're like creatures of our own habits. And we put off, for tomorrow what we can do today. Do you know how many things get pushed on my calendar? And it's like, I just can't get through all of them in a day. And then sometimes you're putting out fires, but that doesn't create, clientele. I want to tell you too, what I want all of you to put on your 5-year goal is I want 50% of your business to be from repeat business. Make that your 5-year goal. Because if you do this now and you put that in your head, because the people that you deal with today are going to be your repeat business in 5 years. It may be sooner, but you will be able, because I could pretty much quit what I'm doing right now and just work off of repeat business. So I want y'all to think about that. And Kathy, you're on here. Do you have anything that you want to share as far as, any of your goals that, and why you do this? What is your big why on why you're selling real estate?
I think I'm probably a little bit different. I'm just selling. I'm trying to help people that I know that are having trouble getting into houses. So
I like
and,
that.
my goal for this month is to my goal for this month is to get down to Arkansas and put another bathroom into the house that my son just bought down there. So I kind of walked him through that process.
But that's a good goal. You're in
So
it,
that's-
there's many reasons to go into it, but you're right. You're in it to help people, and I love that. So did y'all know that people with written goals are 42.1% more likely to achieve them than people who are not? And individuals with accountability are 77.6% more likely to achieve them. So I really want y'all to wrap your head around that. And I am going to tell you guys, I never had a goal until 5 years ago. And I wish that I could go back to my first bold and find where my goal setting was, because I think I've reached most of it. And I never was one. I was like, oh, I don't want a goal because I'm going to exceed all my goals. Don't talk to me about goals. But the minute I made one and I really started paying attention to it, it made a difference. And a good salesperson, they really can, they can sell without any plan whatsoever. The problem is they're going to wear themselves out doing the things they don't need to be doing. And we all get older, and eventually we do need to leverage some of that. So we're going to go into a couple of things. The 411, which stands for 4 weeks, 1 month, 1 year. And it's a productivity tool that drives your goal setting from the desired end results. So, we're going to go a little bit on that, but we're going to have to come back on some of this because I'd like to do another class where we're able to be hands-on with each other and really push some of these other ones. There's also the 411 action goal worksheet. Does everyone have this worksheet right here? Can y'all see that? It's page 2.15. And I just want you to kind of create this and write this down. And I'd like for us to share this on another call. And it's basically, your weekly goals, week 1 through 4, and then your monthly goals, and then your annual. But you'll notice it's annual job goals, and then annual business goals, and annual personal, financial goals, and then personal goals. So I just want y'all to just really, really focus on creating these goals. So what we're going to do is we're going to leverage command, and we're probably going to have to all get with Shalaya again because, everyone, kind of like what Jennifer said, you're just not focusing on that. So we need to understand your database, your transactions, opportunities, compliance, commissions, marketing. You need to understand all this. Another goal that I think we should set is to put so many people in the referral database every day. I know that I talk about that a lot, but we haven't been doing it. Can anyone tell me if they've added people to the referral database and if they've had any referrals come in?
That would be a big fat no.
I love your honesty, Krista. No, and that database is so easy. And I'll tell you a little something. We have the new agent, Kim Folks and Danville, and she has been working it. And of course, she's brand new to it. And she's been getting referrals, in Danville. And so I know that it works, but if you're not in there and you haven't written something about yourself, then you're not going to get them. The other thing is if you've written something about yourself and you're still not getting them, go write something else. Because it's not based on how many houses you've sold. It's not based on how long you've been in it. Because I know agents who are brand new to the business that are getting those referrals. So I just want you to you know, to focus on that, because that's one way. It's such an easy way. And also when you send those referrals back and forth, it's so much easier than when you have to do it, you know, via email and all of that. All you do is plug it in and it's right there.
And to add to that, I did pick up a referral from an agent in Florida through the referral database, and put as much personal information about yourself as you can. Because I had something in there about liking to trout fish, and they chose me because that their buyer that was moving here liked to fish.
Christina, you're
So-
so right about that.
Yeah, and there was another one where they like German Shepherd dogs. I had in there that I had German Shepherd dogs. So it helps an agent pick you apart. Because I know if I'm looking for a referral for someone else, and I go to the Keller Williams referral network, I kind of look. I might have a list of 50 agents, but I'm going to go through and look and see who's going to be the most compatible with my client. So I think the more that you can write about yourself, really and I need to do this as well, but really focus on that bio and just so.
Christina, I appreciate that, because, you know, that is something when I'm looking at it to send stuff, sometimes the ones that just talk about how great they are in real estate, those aren't the ones that I choose, because I like the humble, you know, kind of like Kathy, like you were just saying that you like to help people. I think those things are so important. And like Christina said, if they can understand something that you do, and they try to put you and match you with their client, tell more personal stuff, because that's something that I did not do before. And I've realized that it does make a difference, because that's what I'm noticing with our newer agents. They're just talking about themselves and they're the ones getting the referrals. So thanks for sharing that. So here's some things on your business plan that we're going to write. It's going to help you to achieve the money that you need for your lifestyle. It's going to, you know, tell you how many appointments you need to go on each week to meet your goal. It's going to help you to control your business expenses and identify when and how you can grow your business, identify your lead generation strengths and opportunities, and help you determine when to hire help and to save you time. Those things are important, and time is such a valuable thing. And take that from someone like me, and I'm older, and I don't feel like I gave the time to my friends and family that they deserved, you know, because I did not understand the models and systems, you know, until probably the last 5 years that I started really growing with it. And so if you know, if you won't do it for yourself, do it for your family. So the 5 fundamental models are the economic model. And that is the formula that describes the relationship between a series of activities and the specific outcomes. It's basically where the money comes from and where it goes and how much is left over. Lead generation is a plan where your money comes from. And budget model, a plan for where your money goes. An organizational model is a plan for hiring help. An expansion model is, you know, to apply your systemized business model in additional locations, which that's something we don't even really need to focus on right now until you guys decide you're ready. And that is something, you know, if you do, like if you're from another state, for instance, and I'm just going to do something really short on expansion. And like, I'm from Florida, like I could basically have a buyer's agent or an agent in Florida that I sent leads to, and they would be like an expansion. So that's something that we don't need to focus on. But if you ever had any interest in it, you know, please let me know. So does everyone have this right here, the 3.1? Can you all see this when I do it? This is basically the economic model. And anyone who wants these sheets and this cheat sheet right here, let me know. And I will, I can scan it and email it to you, because I want y'all to do this. It basically says, I want my net income to be $1 million next year. And then it says net income is going to be 40% of your sales. And then I want my operating expenses are going to be 30%, which would be $750,000. So this kind of takes you down the cost of sell, and it tells you the seller side and the buyer side and how much you're going to need. And this is going to walk you through And you could say, I want to make $100,000 next year. I don't care what your number is. It will back it out and tell you exactly what you have to do. Would anyone like to get with me and us do this thing together? We can do it safely with our masks. We can all go get a rapid COVID test before we go. I just think this is so important because like this one says, if you're going to make a net income of $1 million, that you would need to have 333 seller appointments. And then you would have to have 357 buyer appointments. And that's basically 7 a week or 30 a month. Does that make sense? And if that's not what you want, you can just break it down and it tells you. So performance, investment, and outcomes. Performance is basically behavior, skill level, ability, resources. Investment is time, cost of sale, operating expenses, and outcome is your gross commission and net income. So
My book is completely different than yours, Teresa. Sorry.
Is it?
I'm flipping pages trying to. Can you
Yeah,
put it a
that's
little
what I
closer?
know. Well, I was hoping that we were going to have this in a slideshow, but we couldn't
up.
find it.
Up.
Oh,
There we go. That's good. Hold it right. Whoop. To the left. Okay. Whoop. No, it just comes in and out. Sorry.
it's got the 3 little circles. It's performance, investment, and outcomes. So, performance is kind of what I was talking about, how if you're a good salesperson, you could sell ice to Eskimos and you can sell houses and you can do real estate. But if you don't have the models and systems to go with it, that's when you're going to work yourself to death. And Krista, we can always go over this too. And then, if you look at it, you want to look at the 30-30-40 rule. And that's basically your total GCI, operating expenses, cost of sales, and net income. And, I want us all to do this, and I don't care what that number is that we choose. Who in here would like to meet in person and maybe get in a room to go over some of this stuff?
Jennifer would.
Yeah, because I feel like when we're going to kind of, skirt over it, but I feel like to really dig down and get these in, because, if you're in real estate and you don't know, okay, I need to make this much money in order to get to a comfort level in 5 years, you need to know how many appointments that you need. And if you don't know, then you don't have a plan to get there. So I'm going to go through some of this, but these are the ones that we have to sit down. And does everyone have this where it's the MREA economic model? And you can run some of your numbers because this is basically begin with the end in mind. So you want to start with what you want to make, and then you're going to break it down and go all the way through. And it's a little bit confusing at first, but if you play with these numbers, and everyone has this book, do y'all see what I have? I know Krista was saying y'all couldn't see it.
We can't see it at all when you hold it up to the camera, Teresa. Okay. It's just blurry.
Okay. So, that's the part where I just feel like if we're in person, it's going to help, because I want us to come up with something and actually do our own plan so that that's what every month you're like, okay, this is what I need to do. I have to do this in order to make it. Otherwise you're just kind of blindly going, but it has different things on here in different price points of what you're going to do. The other thing is avoid the economic model traps. Not understanding the power of the economic model and using it in 2 ways to check where you are as a planning tool, not using the model as a guide to decision making, not looking at your business as a whole, not knowing or improving your conversion rates, not holding yourself accountable to your goals, and not knowing how much lead generation is required to secure the appointments needed. I think you were talking about that in your goal, Jennifer. And not using the economic model to create other MREA models. So if you don't do it and you're just out there floundering and you're like, oh, well, here's somebody that I might sell, and you put all your eggs in that one basket, and you're not out here, picking up the other eggs, and you have to know how many that takes. The other thing is leverage technology. There are features in Command that help with the economic model. I think we just have to pick little pieces of this and go through it at one time so that we master it. So I'm going to go past some of these business plan things because I want to do that together with you guys, but I want y'all to go over it and fill it out the best you can, and then we can do it together. So here's your build your 411, and then you have your annual goals for the year, and you put in your net income, and then this is going to tell you how many appointments you went on and how you got to the goal you're at now. You're probably, if you have not met your goals, you're probably going to find out that you're not taking enough appointments. And if you're not making enough appointments, you're just not going to get to your goal. Who on here, sometimes when you start your week, your calendar just isn't full enough and you feel like you have excess time, and instead of making calls in your excess time, what you do is you just find it filling other things in your life. And so then you're like, well, I'm going to do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and you keep backing it up. It's just human nature, and no one should feel bad about it and feel like they're the ones doing it, because we all do it. So when you go to the lead generation model, and that is capturing the contact information of persons who have shown interest in the types of service you offer. A lead is a person who has shown interest in the services you offer and whom you can contact. They're usually anonymous. A contact is a person you've met and put in your database. They know you're a real estate agent and you have permission for a two-way interaction. They are not a contact until you get to that point. And prospecting based on marketing enhanced, you do it from here: money intensive, passive, delayed response, time intensive, proactive, immediate response. But you just have to realize that, when you do have your leads, you have to cultivate them. And sometimes it's so easy in our line of business, especially when you're on a team and a lot of leads come in. Sometimes you get a little bit passive on following up on them, because there's so many, that some of them are immediate satisfaction and the other ones are not. But if you don't pay attention to the ones that aren't, at that point, you've lost them, and then they go on and buy from someone else. So here's some lead generation activities. And this is one of my favorite one, and it's prospecting, both, and marketing. Does anyone have this? Do y'all see this page? It's going to have a list of the phone or face-to-face. And I want us to go through these because these are amazing ways to lead generate. And so when you say that you're going to see and meet so many people every week or every month, these are things that you can do. Who wants to read one of these? Where's Jessica's been quiet on here? Where's Jessica?
I'm here.
Do you have this page pulled up?
I'm not sure. I've got the 411 action goal worksheet. Where are we now?
Now we're at the lead generation activities.
Sorry, I got a phone call. Okay, gotcha.
That's okay. So do you want to read the prospecting list, and then we'll kind of go from one to another?
Let's see here.
And this is when you ask yourself, I don't know anyone, or I don't know how to contact anyone. These are ideas on how you can do it. I know my pages are different than yours. Who can tell Jessica what page this is on y'all's book?
4.3.
Okay, great. Thank you. Excellent. Thank you. Okay, so we're looking at prospecting. And you want me to read prospecting?
Yeah, let's read the prospecting, and then we'll have somebody else do the both and somebody else do the marketing.
Okay. Phone or face-to-face, listings without agency, meaning for sale by owners or expired listings. Circle prospecting, neighborhoods, apartment complexes, recently sold listings, or recently listed properties, community outreach, which is charity or volunteer work, key relationships like corporations, builders, banks, third-party data companies, investors, teaching and speaking opportunities, meals, door-to-door canvassing, networking events, booths and kiosks, walk-ins, or text correspondence as in SMS, messenger, or email.
Thank you. So
You're welcome.
what is the one thing that you guys notice about this type of lead generation? Most of it is free. So it does not take money, or it takes very little money to do the things that are in the prospecting. And if you go over to the marketing side, which is great, but the marketing part does cost something. So you have to find a balance between the two of those. And you can't depend on all of the marketing and none of the prospecting. Because even when you're doing marketing and you're not prospecting at the same time, you're basically going to be throwing your money out the window. You know, and when you go to both and you look at farming, which is geographic and demographic, and events like open houses, seminars, contests, client appreciation, networking your sphere and past clients and allied resources and agents, referral networks, advertising networks, clientele, that's kind of in the middle of both. But again, so many people want to just go to the marketing part. And that is great. But if you're not doing the other at the same time, then you're going to be spinning your wheels and wasting your funds. Has anyone done any prospecting work that they felt like was successful? And tell me a little bit about it. Like, was it hard? Was it uncomfortable?
I pretty
Christina,
much just
yeah.
I pretty much just do prospecting everywhere I go. So like when I'm going to US Cellular, have my phone fixed, I talk to them and I usually get someone out of it. If I hear someone over talking in a grocery store and I hear them talking about, oh yeah, my sister-in-law just bought a house, and I'll go up and ask them questions.
Just so y'all know, she does do that. So if you're ever with Krista, you're never going to get the lead, because she is all over them. Like she will talk to them. And you know, that is so true, because you know, a lot of it is just everywhere you go, you know, just strike up a conversation with people. And those are people that are part of, you know, what you put in your database. And, you know, and it's not as hard. It's not even as hard as knocking on doors, because you're standing in the line at the grocery store. You know, it's much easier to, you know, get a conversation that way. And,
Well, and Teresa, just to add to that, when I was in Bold, one of the things that we were supposed to do was go out and, give our business cards to all of the businesses and organizations and things and talk to them and try to make meetings. I don't find it nearly as much of a return on my investment as just speaking to someone in a restaurant or whatever.
I agree. It is more personal because it's spontaneous.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have their guard up. So I agree with you. I think it is too. You know, and we have this new thing, this thing here, it says lead sources, the rule of 4. Like, think about your top 4 lead sources, you know, really think about it and write them down, because those are the ones you need to be focusing on. And, you know, and that's another thing about wearing your name badge. You know, we all forget, we have it stuck on a, you know, jacket in our closet or whatever, but try to wear it, because this is actually a funny story. I went in with Carol Massey, and she was in jeans and, you know, just wasn't dressed up that day. And I went in with her to a, I don't know, it was a sub shop. And I tried to pay for her food and she's like, no, I got it. The girl goes, ma'am, you need to let your realtor pay for your food. Because I had my name badge on and I was dressed like in work clothes, and she was dressed, looked like I was showing her property. And it was the funniest thing, because Carol was my realtor back in the day. But, you know, the point is I did, you know, get a nice conversation with this girl, and she's like, oh, I've seen your stuff in Farmington. I live by there. So she actually was someone that I started conversing with and got her information because she might be interested in buying something. And it was just because I had my name badge on. I don't think she would have recognized me as the realtor over there if I hadn't had it on. So remember, that is free advertising.
Teresa, what did you say about the lead sources for something? What was that?
The ones for, you mean for both?
I don't know what you were saying. I don't have the same book, so I
Oh, the
don't have it in
four.
mind.
Oh, the 4 lead sources. I want y'all to write down your, because, it says, I mean, you can have, 10 lead sources, but your top
Oh,
4,
okay.
what are they? And you need to focus on those. Because if you have a lead source that's working and it's your number 1, you better really start working on that one because that's a good lead source. And then, go to your top 4 and focus on those. Yeah, I don't know what book you have because everybody else has the same pages. Does yours say?
Yeah, this is an old one I took.
Oh,
It was from 2019.
oh, that's what it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
your pages are probably different. The other thing too is your database. Your lead capture, prospecting, and marketing. You really need to take your leads, you form relationships, and then you strengthen your relationships, and then you prepare, contacts for conversion. But, if you just talk to them one time and you don't do anything because that house is sold or whatever that they called on, it doesn't really do you any good. I mean, you're really wasting, you might as well not even call them because you need to find out and dig a little bit. I had someone yesterday, she called on a particular property, it was sold. And I started kind of digging, and it was actually land. Oh no, this is even better. Do you know that a realtor at another office, another company, this girl called him off of his Zillow leads and was asking about one of my lots and he didn't feel like dealing with it. So he sent her back to me. But guess what? I have a listing appointment for her house set up for this Thursday. Because that agent found out it was land and he didn't want to talk to her. Now, is that not the craziest thing in the world? He handed her right in my lap. But the point is instead of getting irritated when somebody's calling on something little, find out who they are because you have no idea who that person is. And her house is about a $350,000 house. And, and strangely enough, I didn't pay for that lead. It came over to me from somebody else who did not want to take the time to work with her. So I just think you need to dig a little bit deeper into them and do a needs analysis, find out, what they need, because the more you do that, the more they bond with you. Because just because you take a lead, you have to convert them into your client. The other thing is communicate with everyone in your database. Frequency. When considering quality versus quantity, quantity keeps you top of mind. Don't undertouch because of fear of overtouching. So I have a lot of people in my database and I'll send out something to everyone, on a regular basis. And when I can send it out to 18,000 people and I will get 2 people that say, remove me from your database. Who do you think that I focus on more? Those 2 people hurt my feelings. I'm like, well, dadgum, what do you mean these 2 people don't want my email anymore? Because it's human nature, because you're like, oh man, I better not send that out. But that is exactly what they're talking about. Don't be afraid to overtouch. And if you have people in your database and you are not sending something out at least once a week, then you're not communicating with your database. And again, do you know how many agents in our office reach out to me and they're like, hey, Teresa, do you mind if I market one of your listings? You don't even have to have a listing to market a listing. So make sure you do it. Consistency, spread your touches throughout the year and keep it up. Just keep doing it. Gain permission, ask for opt-out.
What is your source of what you're using to do your campaigns? Are you on command only now, or are you using
Yep.
something else?
Nope. I finally crossed over and it's only command and it's so
Okay.
cool. I mean, it really is so cool. And I know I was so excited when Shalaya finally taught me how to do it. And
Okay.
you know, because market leader, I was used to doing that. And then I had to go, okay, let me learn command. Yeah. So I am doing command and it's been working really, really well.
The only way I could do that was I had to cancel my market leader. It's the only way
You're
that
right.
would make me do it. Okay.
Yep. No, because you're gonna be like, well, I got this over here. I just paid for
Right.
it. Let me do it. Yep. It makes you do it, you know, if you don't have anything else. And then gain permission. Ask for opt out for permission to have a two-way meaningful relationship. Permission based is more efficient. Pair value. Leverage the information you gain about your contacts in order to offer higher levels of value. So, you know, another thing, and I know I say this all the time, get them set up on auto prospecting, you know, and just ask them, say, you know, can we just have a quick phone call for a needs analysis so I understand what you're looking for, so I can help you find the right home. You know, they actually appreciate it. I mean, I've had a lot of people that have told me, you know, that, you know, actually another one that we had, she called in on a listing and I said, well, I said, do you want to see anything else while we're looking at this listing? And she goes, no, I have my other one set up with other agents. So I said, well, Brianna, I said, would you like to have representation? I said, because the chances are you're going to look at this one and it's not even going to be the right one for you. And I said, if you want representation, and I explained to her what a buyer's representation was. And I said, whether you use me or you use one of those other 3 agents that you had set this up for, I really want you to have somebody looking out for your best interest. And you know what she did? She called up all 3 of those other companies and she canceled them. And she asked me to take care of it. And she bought a house. And actually it was Claire's first sale. It was over in Leesville Lake and this, you know, little house over there. And, you know, and the people had to see it right then. And I didn't know it, but because I talked to her, her family had sold their house and she had 3 kids and a dog living in a hotel with a pre-qual in her hand. But if I had not continued my conversation with her, she would have looked with 3 other agents. And then, you know, to me, don't waste your time going to show a house when they've got 3 other agents. That's like a wing and a prayer, you know? So you need to make sure that you have that conversation. Isn't it shocking that out of 3 other people, nobody had the conversation with her? So
Yeah, that's wild.
isn't it wild? I know. I'm like, what were they thinking? Oh, let me go show you
You know
this
what?
house.
This just brought me back to something that I haven't practiced in years since I first started real estate. But back in the day, we had a lead sheet that we would carry around in our cars. And when we talked to someone, we would put, you know, a little bit about the conversation, phone number, da, da, da. And I could personally get back to that habit because sometimes you're just on the go and you're in your car and you talk to someone and, you know, it's kind of a flyby. Whereas if we could take the time to pull over, write it down, and then go back to it, and then we can add it to our database as well and kind of remember parts of the conversation. That was a really good sheet.
You know, you're right. You're right, Christina. And you know what I use on my phone, because I won't lose that. I lose paper. On my phone, I have something that's called notes. And every time I talk to someone, I stop what I'm doing, I put them on speaker, and I go to my notes. And as they're talking, I'm typing. You know, and that's why I know that she had a big dog in her hotel room and she had her 3 kids and I, you know, blah, blah, blah. Because if that person reaches back out to me, then I can go into my notes and I type it in. I'm like, oh God, this is Brianna. You know, now I know about her and I didn't forget. So you are right. You need to write this stuff down because it makes them feel important when you remember who they are. And so you really do need to. Krista Layton, you know, was my client. And I remember I talked to she and Christy probably 2 years before they came back and actually bought something. And I had them in my notes and in my phone and I had information on them. So when they called me, I answered the phone by their name. So it is important to make sure that you make those notes.
Yeah, she had us listed as land.
Yeah.
And we ended up building with her.
I know. And they were, and it did have their names in there too. It was like, and it was land, Christy and Krista. They were land people. But the thing is like, if you don't take the time to write that stuff down, you're not going to know about these people. And I think what happens is as human nature is, you feel like you're bothering them, you know, but there's a reason why they're on there looking at houses. You know, there's some kind of a needs analysis that they need, and you just have to dig. You know, don't feel like you're invading their privacy. Just keep digging. And, you know, and it will make a big difference. So let's go into, this is a little bit about the touch campaigns. And I love these because you know how you're always like, well, I don't know how often to touch these people. I don't know how many times to do it or what I need to send. So the MREA touch campaigns is communicate with everyone in your database. It says 4 touches quarterly phone call. And that's why you have to make an appointment with yourself to make those phone calls. Otherwise, you won't do it. And 12 touches means a monthly email, newsletter, market report, video. You know, send some stuff over to them. And people love to see what's going on in the market. And then 2 touches are like a promotional direct mail or such as a magnet calendar, you know, printed market report. And then a 1 touch would be an annual event. And the annual event is to me the hardest one, but it's very important because you need something that you bring your people to you that you do for them. And it can be a barbecue at a park. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything, you know, fancy or big, but it doesn't even mean that they have to come. It's just the fact that you've invited them. And then 1 to cement, a high value touch that solidifies the relationship you have just established and opens the door to future interactions. And then to saturate is the 36 to convert. It's 4 touches, 26 touches, which is like bi-weekly email, offering some type of information or value, events, get-togethers, 4 touches, promotional direct mail, such as a magnet and calendar. So if you look at these, you're going to see the 19 touch, the 1 to cement, and the 36 to convert. And some of these are going to be a little bit different from people that just bought a house that you want to stay in touch with compared to people that are actively searching. Trey, are you in your car? So don't forget the compliance and do not call Protection Act. So we're going to go back into our database with the following assumptions. Okay, so we're going to say you convert 50% of your pool of 6%. So if you have 500 contacts in your database receiving 36 touches a year, all right, who does not have 500 people in their database?
Me.
Christina Holmes. Oh, listen to her.
Guilty. Oh yeah. I am the worst. I've probably added 10 names in my database over the past 6 years.
Okay.
So that is a goal of mine.
Did you know that Scott Leroy, and Shalai is on here, she can help you. Did you know that Scott Leroy can take your phone and your computer and roll every single contact that you have in there into your database?
That's okay. Yeah. I knew that once and I forgot it. So now, yeah. Okay.
So we're going to do that. All right. Shalai is going to reach out to you and we're getting this done. He can actually roll them all in there because I know what it's like is you put them in your phone or you're typing them in a computer, you know, and you're putting them in, but then you never make it to the database. So I want you to listen to this. 6% of the people in your database will buy or sell each year. 6% of them. So think about that. However many people you have in there and you're touching them, whether you touch them or not, 6% of the people that you've talked to or that you should have in your database, whether you do or not, are going to buy a house. And so if you don't ever put them in there and do the campaign, then you're never going to have it. So here's the other one. You ask for, and 4% of your database give you a referral and you convert 50% of them. That's 500 times 4% times 50% is 10 appointments a year. That is if that's all you do. All you do all the time is just that if you have 500 people in there. Now, I am not going to make anybody feel guilty because they don't have them in there, because trust me, mine wouldn't be in there either if I didn't have Scott Leroy do it. If anyone needs some help, I want you to text me after this and I'm going to connect you. I'm already connecting you, Christina. I'm going to connect you guys with Shalaya to show you how to get Scott Leroy to do that. It's unbelievable. You know, because if you just do this, this is the easy stuff that you can do. And I don't know why we get up in the morning, we just don't do it. And I'm just as guilty as anyone. So I'm not preaching at you. So how many appointments would you have based on the number of contacts in your database receiving 36 touches a year with a 50% conversion? Like Krista, do you know how many you have in yours?
I have around 5,000. I was just going to
Okay.
pull it up on my calculator.
So yeah, figure out the 5,000 times 0.06 times 0.5. How many appointments that would be a year off your 5,000? Way to go, by the way.
Thank you. So points by 6% times what?
Yeah, so it's 5,000 times 0.06
Mhm.
times 0.5, which is the 50%.
150.
150 appointments a year if you were doing that touch campaign the way you, I mean,
Okay.
does that, and these are proven. I'm telling you, this is not just made up math. Like this is math that they have taken all agents across the globe and figured out what they're doing. And they have actually tested this and it's tried and true.
That's awesome.
I mean, it's like, Krista, you would never have to spend another penny ever.
Yeah, I like that.
I know, but we all do it. Like, it's not, I can never pinpoint anybody else. Monica is on here. Was Monica still on here with us? Did I lose her? I bored her to death.
Oh,
So, Jessica, how long have you been selling real estate?
Actively a year, but full-time 3 months.
Wow. Wow. Congratulations on the plunge. How many
Thank you.
people do you have in your database?
Oh, maybe 25. It's not a lot.
So how many people do you have in your phone?
Oh, maybe 50. I actually don't have a whole lot in my phone. Yeah, I probably
But
should have more.
yes, and every time you talk to a human being, you put them in your phone because it is the quickest way to get them into your database. To me, it's easier. I just would rather have them rolled over. Same thing like Kathy, what about you? How many people do you have in your database?
I have between 300 and 400.
Good girl. But you're almost at that 500 mark right there. Sorry, that's my alarm to remind me to pick up.
Rolled mine all from my phone already.
You already did? Yeah, you rolled them over. I mean, it really is the easiest way to do it. And then you have to kind of go in there and you got to critique them. Michelle, what about you? Is your whole phone in your database? I can tell by the look on your face.
It isn't, I'm not a good liar. We know this. We'll just say there's a lot more on my phone.
Yes. So what is our goal? Jennifer, what about you? I think I lost Jennifer. Oh, I don't see her on here. So our goal is let's get these things off of our phone. Do you need Shalaya to contact you too, Michelle?
I'll get with her. I think she's headed to the lake this week, I believe so.
Okay. Text her now while we're on here.
Yes, ma'am.
Text her and tell her that she needs to show you and Christina how to do Holmes how to do it. If you'll do that for me, just so I don't forget.
You got it.
So, so I just want you guys, and the thing is, like in the campaigns, there's social media, emails, direct mail, and paid ads. In the designs, you have a library of over 1,400 ready-made templates for you. And trust me, they're not hard to do because I did them, and I'm not that great on doing that. So I want y'all to try to use this stuff. Like my business plan, lead generation model, you have to have your contacts in there. And this is going to tell you, y'all can read through this later, but it's going to really give you the math on it. And when you do the math and you find out, it's amazing. Like it really is. But I want y'all to try to grow your database and just keep them going. And Jessica, we were just talking about that. The fact that you don't have a lot in there, just keep adding people. I don't care if it's family, church, teachers, friends, any acquaintance that you make, get them in there. And you can also send them your real estate app, because that real estate app is awesome. I use it every day. I don't care where I'm at. I use my real estate app. Now, I didn't use it before because I didn't know how to use it right when they changed it over. And then when I figured out how to do it, it's amazing. So
I use the app too, Teresa. And what my biggest problem is, you're like, okay, have you put any referrals in command? Well, or used referral stuff. My problem is, you told us that we need to put everything that is a lead of ours in there that you have worked with the team on. And I have not gotten to do that yet. And so what I'm doing is I'm finding that I just send it in my app and I tell them to log in and sign up. And that's what puts them in my database for me.
yep.
And
it
then
puts
I
them
just
right
have to
in.
transfer it. So,
Yep. And it's tough because you have to watch them do it, because they won't do it.
right.
And you're right, because if you tell them to do it and they don't do it. Yeah. So if y'all give them your app, and the question is if they download it, but if you're standing over them at an open house, they usually will download it. And because what I do is I say, hey, download it now so I can show you how to use it.
Right.
And then they do. And it's amazing. I mean, it shows you everything around you, that's for sale. It makes it so much easier if you're at an open house and you download that app for them. And then when they click on it, you have to click the arrow that puts you where you're standing. Then it tells you everything around your open house that's for sale. And you can make an appointment with them, after the open house to go see it. So it really does work. But like I say, I want y'all to kind of play around with it, but please start adding stuff to your database. And if you don't have a lot of people that are in your sphere that start adding to it. Jessica, how old are you?
42.
42?
I do have a lot of people in my sphere, especially coming from the medical background. But it's just a matter of getting them in there. And I actually have them written down in a notebook. So it's
they're just not in there.
They're just not in there, right?
Not the notebook person. Oh my goodness. That would be Trey and Michelle.
Yeah,
Look
yeah.
what you say. Michelle's over there
Yeah.
clapping.
No, look at that notebook.
Michelle's clapping about it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, hey, do you have this appointment available? Let me go get my notebook. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Like, why are they in a notebook?
You know
And
what?
I bet Jessica looked back at her notes and found it. It was in her notebook.
Definitely did.
Yeah.
You know what? And I just recently asked Livy about something, and she said, "Oh, I just keep that in my head." I was like, "Livy, you don't keep
In my
this written
head.
down somewhere?"
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. I know.
That's
it
Libby,
really
all
is.
right.
I think it's funny how everybody works though, because I can't do paper. Like if I had a notebook, I'd lose the notebook. Like there's just no, I could have notebook after notebook, but it'll go someplace. If I don't have it in this phone right here, it's not happening. So it is amazing how people think. But do me a favor, Jessica, will you put them all into something? Because the fact that you have your past business, everyone, like you just have so many people that you've met, and your people that you've met have jobs and they can buy something.
That's really true. And I'll make a concerted effort to get them in my database. Christina really has actually been telling me to do that. She's like, everybody you talk to, put them in there. Now I know she's not doing it, but yeah, I'll work on that for sure.
Do as I say, not as I do. Yeah, do as I say and not as I do. And that's basically what it is. Do you know that before I was with Keller Williams, because not every company has a database, like they don't have these tools. And I had all of mine. They were in my phone because I put everybody's information in. They were in a big giant box in my closet, thousands of them. I mean, thousands, like, I don't know, 4,000 or 5,000 of them. Little sticky notes, because I would carry sticky notes around and I'd write all the information. I put it in this box. I don't know what I was going to do with the box. Can you believe I had the box? That's the crazy part.
Oh
And
my gosh.
it was all my open houses that I did. All these people were in this box, and I had to give it to my assistant. I was like, here, I need you to put, you should have seen their face. Like, it was this big giant box of people's
I'd kill you.
contact. Oh yeah, they were just loving life. I mean, I think it took them a year to get them in there. But now that we can have that easy access where they go over, it works so much better. Yeah, Krista, you were in a box.
Yeah, great. And I'm sure it was Riley that had to put them in, and Riley
This
has
was
since
before.
left.
Yeah, this is before. This is way back with
Oh,
poor
okay.
Ashley Willis. It was Ashley Willis.
Oh,
We
wow.
wonder
Gosh,
why
poor
she left and
Ashley.
had children. She didn't want to work with us anymore.
Oh,
So this is where I want y'all to look at also the cost of sales, you know, as far as for listings and buyers, you know, go through some of this stuff. You may not understand everything that you read, but it will help you to kind of get an idea, because when we all sit down to do these together and we're going to do our own, it's going to make a big difference. You know, I just want everybody to let me know when you're ready to do it, you know, but that's basically what this one is about, because I can't really do the math sitting here with you. But I think what we've come up with is everyone needs to get their contacts in their database and start doing the campaigns. And if you don't know how to do I don't care if you ask Shalaya 25 times how to do a campaign. She is so easygoing and so easy to work with, and she will sit down with you. I still call her and sit down with her, and I make my note. Oh, and I make my notes in my phone, not in a book that I can't find, not in a notebook. So, you know, if you don't know how to do them, I want you to sit down with her. And when you do a Facebook campaign, she's going to show you, because there's a way to do it where it asks for people to sign in. And then there's a way to do it where they don't sign in. If you click the don't sign in, you're not going to get any leads, because they're just going to look at your stuff and they're in the sky someplace. You have to click the right button. And that's why if you're not getting leads when you do these Facebook campaigns, that's going to be why. But sit down with her and figure out how to do it, because you will get leads and they will come in. And most of them are really good. At least they have the correct email address and phone number and name. And I've done other ones, you know, I did one with a paid that wasn't through Command, and 1 out of every 100 would have the name, phone number, and email. At least Command, most of them do have the right one. Some of them are Mickey Mouse, but most of them will at least have the right information. Does anybody have any questions? We've run over a little bit, so I'm gonna let y'all go breathe. Trey, go sell a house. I think she just got off to go show one. All right, nice seeing y'all.
Thank you.
You're
Thanks, Teresa.
welcome. Bye.
bye.
See ya.